grateful nation pays tributes to Mahatma Gandhi on his 151st birth anniversary. All religion prayer at Rajghat. President Ramnath Kovind, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and several dignitaries pay homage to Bapu. Commemorating the 151st birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi, the Union Jal Shakti Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat presents the Swachh Bharat Awards. The Union Minister Hardeep Singh Puri says that countrymen made Swachh Bharat mission a people's movement and says that the target of Swachh Bharat Urban will be achieved by 2022. The 116th birth anniversary of the former Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri is being observed today. President Ramnath Kovind and Prime Minister Narendra Modi pay floral tributes at Vijay Ghat. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address the Vaibhav, that's the Vaishvik Bharatiya Vaigyanik Summit, virtually. The conference brings together Indian scholars working in academic and research institutes worldwide. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate the Atal Tunnel in Rohtang tomorrow, a tribute to former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee. It's the world's longest tunnel. Another major success for India in the battle against COVID-19. For the 11th successive day, active cases remain below 10 lakh mark. The highest number of people who've recovered from COVID in the world are in India. The US President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump have tested positive for COVID-19. The presidential advisor also tests positive for COVID-19. President Ramnath Kovind and Prime Minister Narendra Modi wish the first couple of the United States a speedy recovery. Namaskar and welcome to the news. I'm Mark Lynn. Here's our top story. Well, the nation remembers the father of the nation today, Mahatma Gandhi, on his 151st birth anniversary. A series of events are being organized across the country to mark the day. The year-long celebrations to mark the 150th birth anniversary of the father of the nation also culminates today. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, or Mahatma Gandhi, was born on October 2, 1869 at Porbandar in Gujarat. Albert Einstein, the greatest scientist of all time, people would argue, once said that Mahatma Gandhi, he said about Mahatma Gandhi that generations to come will scarcely believe that such a man once walked upon this earth. President Ramnath Kovind and Prime Minister Narendra Modi today visited Rajghat, the Samadhi of Mahatma Gandhi, and they offered floral tributes to the father of the nation. A Sarva Dharma prayer meeting was also organized at Rajghat. Leaders and distinguished personalities from across the world also paid floral tributes, in fact paid their tributes to Mahatma Gandhi on his 151st birth anniversary. Let's listen to some of what they said.
The celebration of Mahatma Gandhi's 150th birth anniversary has been an occasion for many countries all over the world to come together in a united call for peace, fraternity, and hope. Peace, fraternity, and hope are constituent elements of the universal legacy of this unique figure in world history.
It's an honor to be here today with you to join in celebrating the legacy of Mahatma Gandhi and the celebration of International Day on Violence. I thank the government of India for the effort in honoring the memory of a great and wise man. Our virtual presence here is a reflection of the close tie between San Marino and India, but also of the legacy of Mahatma Gandhi, which was felt to the furthest corner of our globe.
I am very glad to transmit my warm greetings and wishes on the end of the 2 years long celebration of the 150th anniversary of the Gandhi's birth. The great statesman of your country can be considered one of the most important protagonists of the last century, and his ideas and leadership have been and continue to be an extraordinary reference point for everybody who looks at the human rights as one of the most significant themes of every time.
And the Union Jal Shakti Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat felicitated top awardees with the Swachh Bharat Puraskar on the virtual ceremony on the occasion of the 151st birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. The awards were particularly given under the drinking water and cleanliness categories, and on the occasion he said that ensuring safe water to children is a priority through tap water connections in schools, Anganwadi centers and healthcare centers, and the government will ensure that they will achieve this target in 100 days time.
आगामी 100 दिनों में हम देश के हर एक विद्यालय में, हर एक आंगनवाड़ी केंद्र में न केवल पीने का पानी सुनिश्चित करें, अपितु इस बात को भी निश्चित करें कि हर गांव के आंगनवाड़ी केंद्र और शौचालय में जहां हमारे स्कूल के बच्चे, हमारे नन्हे मुन्ने बच्चे आते हैं, जो हमारे देश का आने वाले समय का भविष्य है, ऐसे बच्चों को स्वच्छ पानी पीने का भी मिले और उनके यहाँ, उनके शौचालय में ठीक से पानी की उपलब्धता भी सुनिश्चित हो.
He also stressed on the need to conserve water in every use so that we can provide safe water to people in the coming days.
हम पानी का विवेकपूर्ण उपयोग करते हुए साथ साथ में पानी की एक एक बूंद को बचाने के लिए, चाहे वो खेत में उपयोग हो रही हो, चाहे वो रसोई घर में उपयोग हो रही हो, या हम हमारे दैनिक उपयोग में कहीं भी आ रही हो, हम एक एक बूंद को ठीक से उपयोग करते हुए एक एक बूंद को बचाने के लिए काम करेंगे ताकि हम देश को आने वाले समय में जल समृद्ध बना सकें.
The minister also called everyone called on them to join their hands in making India ODF plus, while in fact ensuring complete cleanliness and effective solid and liquid waste management across all houses, Anganwadis and villages.
कि ये हमारा अंतिम लक्ष्य नहीं था, ये हमारी पहली पायदान थी. हमने सफलता की पहली सीढ़ी चढ़ी है, लेकिन इससे आगे बढ़कर संपूर्ण स्वच्छता के इस मिशन को लेकर के हमको आगे बढ़ना है. लिक्विड वेस्ट, तरल अपशिष्ट से मुक्त हो. जो पानी हमारे शौचालयों से निकलता है, जो पानी हमारे रसोई घर से निकलता है, जो पानी हमारे स्नान घर से निकलता है, उस पानी का भी ठीक से जो है शुद्धिकरण होकर के उसका पुनरुपयोग किया जा सके, लेकर के ODF प्लस की संकल्पना के साथ में माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के नेतृत्व में हम आगे बढ़ें.
The Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs is celebrating the 6th anniversary of the Swachh Bharat Mission Urban today by organizing a webinar titled Swachhta Ke 6 Saal, Bemisal. And in fact the day marks the 151st birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi, and this day also focuses on celebrating the achievements of the past 6 years under the mission, along with the experience of that states have been sharing, cities have been sharing, partner organizations have been sharing, and the Housing and Urban Affairs Minister Hardeep Singh Puri chaired this webinar.
Prime Minister has succeeded in instilling in us a pride, a commitment and a passion on Swachhta. Now what the government has done to provide the physical targets, I think the people have taken over, and therefore I think the greatest success of the Prime Minister's schemes on Swachhta is to have generated that transformation from a government project to the people. I can tell you, I come across so many instances when somebody sees a little bit of piece lying here or there, people stop, pick it up, which is different from the prevailing psychology which we saw earlier, which was one of littering.
A symposium was organized at the Vigyan Bhavan in the national capital to commemorate 151 years of Mahatma Gandhi, and the theme was Mahatma Gandhi's experiments with Swachhta, Key to Prosperity. The program was organized jointly by Kendriya Bhandar and CSL. The program was chaired by Dr. Jitendra Singh, the Minister of State in the Prime Minister's Office, Director General of Doordarshan, Mayank Agarwal, and other dignitaries were there. They attended the function, and in his address, Dr. Jitendra Singh said that Gandhi's cleanliness drive is currently being carried forward in the country by the Prime Minister.
हम गांधी के देश में पैदा हुए और हम कहीं ना कहीं संस्कार भूलने लगे थे, और 6 महीने के भीतर मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में, और मैं कहता हूं कि ये जो 5-6 वर्ष का हमारा सरमाया था, जो हमारी इन्वेस्टमेंट थी स्वच्छता की, ये हमारे काम आई है। ये ठीक कहा मुकेश जी ने, ये जो 2014 से एक अभियान मोदी जी ने प्रारंभ किया था, उसने हमें बचा लिया, क्योंकि धीरे धीरे हमें गांधीवाद की तरफ और नजदीक ले जाने का सिलसिला मोदी जी ने पहले से ही प्रारंभ कर दिया था, क्योंकि उनकी दूरअंदेशी से उनको ये अनुभव हुआ कि आखिरकार यही हमारे लिए काम आएगा।
Dr. Jitendra Singh also shared an inspirational story about Mahatma Gandhi from Mahatma Gandhi's life.
पुलिस अधिकारी सुबह 5 बजे के लगभग उस फ्लैट पे पहुंचे जहां गांधी जी किसी के मेहमान के रूप में रह रहे थे। उससे पहले 2 वाक्य गांधी जी के मुख से जो निकले, पहले तो उन्होंने कहा कि आई एम एक्सट्रीमली सॉरी बिकॉज ऑफ यू, बिकॉज ऑफ मी यू हैड टू अंडरगो दिस बॉदरेशन एट दिस आवर ऑफ द डे, कि तुमको मेरी वजह से सुबह उठ करके जागना पड़ा क्योंकि तुम्हारी ये ड्यूटी लगी। और दूसरा कि इफ यू परमिट मी आई विल गो थ्रू माई मॉर्निंग कोर and accompany you in a short while. Meanwhile, before that, I'll serve you your breakfast because I think you might have missed your breakfast. और जो पुलिस कर्मी जो आया था गिरफ्तार करने, पहले उनके पैरों में पड़ा, फिर उनको लेकर के।
Today is the birth anniversary of the second Prime Minister of India, Lal Bahadur Shastri, the man who gave us this inspiring slogan of Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan. Lal Bahadur Shastri played an active role in India's independence movement. President Ramnath Kovind and Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited Shastriji's Samadhi at Vijay Ghat, and they paid floral tributes to the former Prime Minister. The Prime Minister will address the Vaishvik Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address the Vaishvik Bharatiya Vaigyanik Summit via video conference in just a while from now. The Vaibhav Summit is a global virtual summit of overseas and resident Indian researchers and academicians, and it's being organized from the 2nd of October to the 31st of October. And the aim of this summit is to bring Indian origin luminaries in the academic institutes across the world and R&D organizations, and also resident counterparts here in India, on a single platform to debate upon collaboration, on mechanisms to collaborate, to strengthen academic and science and technology base in India, and all this is with the aim of global development. The Defence Minister Rajnath Singh today visited the all-weather Atal Tunnel, which reduces the distance between Manali and Leh by 46 kilometers and the travel time by 4 to 5 hours at Rohtang in Himachal Pradesh. The Chief Minister, Jairam Thakur, was also present. He accompanied the Defence Minister. Also, he took stock of the preparations there for the inauguration of this tunnel, which will be done by the Prime Minister on Saturday. The Prime Minister, as we said, will inaugurate the Atal Tunnel, Rohtang, on the 3rd of October, and which is an important step in the development of Rohtang. It is the world's longest tunnel. It's a tribute to the former Prime Minister, Atal Bihari Vajpayee.
Tunnel Rohtang will soon be dedicated to the nation by Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi. This will serve as a much-needed year-long connectivity to the people and will be an important step towards the development of the region.
5-6 महीना हमारा कट ऑफ रहता सर्दियों में।
मेरी बेटी पेपर में अपीयर नहीं हो पाई।
हम लोग यहाँ पर कोई भी फसल पैदा करते हैं, मार्केट में पहुँचाने के लिए हमें बहुत दिक्कतों का सामना करना पड़ता है।
Border Roads Organization, BRO, is responsible for creating a wonderful network of roads, bridges and tunnels across the country, particularly in remote border areas. BRO is now credited with adding another feather in its cap for constructing the world's longest tunnel above an altitude of 3,000 meters. The dream has now become a reality with renewed focus from the government and the highest priority accorded by the Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi. Atal Tunnel Rohtang is a tribute to the former Prime Minister and Bharat Ratna Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Construction of the tunnel commenced with Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee laying the foundation stone for the approach road in 2002, followed by the first blast in 2010. Breakthrough in October 2017 was achieved when construction teams working from south and north portals linked up with each other, setting the pace for timely completion of the tunnel. To complete the work, a workforce of 3,000 labor and 650 BRO personnel have worked in 3 shifts every day. The material used to complete the tunnel was steel over 12,000 tons, concrete over 1 lakh tons, cement 1.7 lakh tons. An excavation that was required to complete the tunnel was 12 lakh cubic meters. This Atal Tunnel Rohtang will substantially reduce travel time and will provide much needed all-weather connectivity to the people of Lahore and Spiti.
टनल के बनने से हम भी यहाँ से चले जाए ताकि हमारा जो ख्वाब है वो पूरा हो जाए।
While the new lifeline will provide easy access to people, it will also add to the capabilities of the armed forces in reaching out to the remote border areas as well. In line with the vision of Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi of giving a boost to our armed forces and to provide much needed relief to the people of Himachal Pradesh and Ladakh, this much awaited project is about to bring prosperity to the people, and the joy can be seen on their happy faces.
And for the 11th successive day, India's active COVID-19 cases remained less than 10 lakh, while the country continued to maintain its global position of having the maximum number of recovered patients, the Union Health Ministry said on Friday, with 78,877 people having recuperated from COVID-19 in the span of 24 hours. India's total recoveries surged to 53,52,078, pushing the recovery rate to 83.70%. Talking to the media in Patna, the Union Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad said that the 3 farm bills, which are now acts and have been passed by Parliament, empower the ordinary Indian farmers who can sell their produce now anywhere in the country, and they are free also from exploitation. He alleged that the Congress and the RJD are making a hue and cry on this issue, and it favors because they want to favor the middlemen and not the farmers.
ये बिल किसानों के हित में है, लेकिन विरोधी पार्टियां कांग्रेस, आरजेडी सहित बिचौलियों के पक्ष में खड़ी है। ये बिल किसानों को बिचौलियों और दलालों से मुक्त करता है। कांग्रेस पार्टी और आरजेडी बिचौलियों और दलालों के पक्ष में खड़ी है, इसका विरोध कर रही है। दूसरी बात, जो कहा जा रहा है कि ये न्यूनतम समर्थन मूल्य नहीं मिलेगा, ये बिल्कुल बेबुनियाद है, आधारहीन है। प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कहा है, संसद में कृषि मंत्री ने कहा है, मिनिमम सपोर्ट प्राइस कभी नहीं समाप्त होगा और हमेशा रहेगा।
Referring to the Hathras rape case, Ravi Shankar Prasad said that Yogi Adityanath government is taking all necessary steps, but the Congress is politicizing the issue.
सख्त कार्रवाई की है, आपके SIT की घोषणा कर दी है, जो उनके खिलाफ अपराधी थे वो गिरफ्तार है, फास्ट ट्रैक कोर्ट में उसकी सजा चलेगी, ये सारी बातें हो गई। लेकिन ये कौन सी कांग्रेस की नीति है कि राजस्थान पर चुप है आप, जहां और विपरीत घटना हुई है वहां तो कुछ नहीं बोल रहे हैं प्रियंका और राहुल गांधी, और यहां जाकर के पूरा ड्रामा कर रहे हैं। ये ऐसा नहीं चलेगा। और हम लोग का कमिटमेंट देखिए कि हमारी सरकार है, वो कानून मैंने ही मूव किया था, 12 साल से नीचे की बच्ची होगी तो फांसी लगेगी आपको बलात्कार में, और बाकी इसके ऊपर होंगे तो आपको आजीवन, मतलब आजीवन आप जेल में रहेंगे। ये भी कानून किया है।
The US President Donald Trump in a tweet informed that he and the First Lady Melania Trump have tested positive for COVID-19. Hoping to successfully get through the phase together, Donald Trump said that he's doing well and will continue to perform his duties without disruption while quarantining along with the First Lady. Earlier, the US President had tweeted that one of his most senior advisors had tested positive for coronavirus. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has sent his best wishes to his friend, the US President Donald Trump, on social media and has prayed for his speedy recovery from COVID-19. India has gifted 41 ambulances and 6 school buses to various governmental and non-governmental working NGOs, that is, working in the field of health and education in Nepal. And these organizations are spread across 30 districts of Nepal, including remote districts. A press statement from the Embassy of India in Nepal has said that gifting of these ambulances and school buses is a part of India's continued support for the efforts of Nepal to strengthen healthy services, particularly emergency medical services, and also facilities. It facilitates easing of the physical access, in fact, of students to their places of learning. So during a telephonic conversation between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Nepalese counterpart KP Sharma Oli, which happened on the 15th of August, the leaders had expressed mutual solidarity in the context of efforts being made to minimize the impact of COVID-19 pandemic in both countries. The Prime Minister had also offered India's continued support to Nepal in this regard. So we can put this into context. The Champions League group stage draw was announced in Geneva in Switzerland. Manchester United handed a tough draw on their return to the Champions League. Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi will face off in the Champions League group stage for the first time, as Juventus and Barcelona were drawn together in Group G. Let's take a look at the groups for this season's competition. So the Champions League draw: Group A, Bayern Munich, Spain; Atletico Madrid, Austrian; Red Bull Salzburg, Russian; Lokomotiv Moscow. Group B is Real Madrid, Shakhtar Donetsk, which is Ukrainian; Inter Milan, Borussia, also a German side; and Group C, FC Porto, and Group F we have here Zenit St. Petersburg, Borussia Dortmund, the Lazio, Club Brugge. And Group G is Juventus, Barcelona, Dynamo Kiev, and also Ferencvaros. Group H is Paris Saint-Germain, Manchester United, RB Leipzig, Istanbul, Başakşehir. And Joe Wilcox secured Arsenal's first win at Anfield since 2012 with the winning penalty in a shootout after a goalless 90 minutes to put them into the quarterfinals of the EFL Cup. Liverpool paid the price for not making the most of their dominance in the normal time. Arsenal lost 3-1 in the Premier League at the Reds 4 days ago, and the coach Arteta was pleased with his side's response. But after Divock Origi and Harry Wilson saw efforts saved by Leno, Wilcox converted the decisive penalty to seal victory for his team. Arsenal will now host Manchester City in the last 8, with all ties to be played in the week commencing the 21st of December. Right, and that was the sports news, but let's go back to our story on the Prime Minister's address to the Vaishvik Bharatiya Vigyanik, that's the Vaibhav Summit. It's going to happen by video conference in a short while from now. Arun Sharma is joining us and he will tell us a little bit about this conference. Arun, just put this conference into context because it's coming at a time when COVID is around. There's science and also technology and, you know, putting great minds together to try and find solutions to the world's problems and global development. Yes, go ahead.
That's right, Mark. We know this fact that Prime Minister Narendra Modi, is interacting with the global researchers, scientists, innovators as of now. Most of them are from Singapore, US, and big countries, including 55 countries primarily.
Okay.
So Prime Minister Narendra Modi will today be inaugurating this Vaibhav Summit. And these deliberations, conversations, meetings will take place till 31st of October. The idea behind this Vaibhav Summit is to engage the Indian diaspora who are specifically into the, who are specifically into research and development, who are into science and technology, and of course, which are, professors in renowned universities and colleges all across the world. So all these researchers with Indian origin, they're trying to give ideas for various Indian requirements as of now. When we talk about agriculture sector, when we say about doubling the farmers' income or bringing in new technology, that is something is also being discussed. When we talk about the education sector, how to bring in more tools and effective applications, mobile applications, how can new methods be brought into Indian context, that is also being discussed as of now. So there are more than 10,000 researchers, scientists, innovators that are discussing, having deliberations, having interacting as well. These researchers and scientists are also talking about the best practices that they are witnessing as of now in their respective countries. For example, when we talk about ease of doing business, Singapore is in number one, is in top 5 countries as far as ease of doing business is concerned.
Yes.
So how is Singapore in a position to maintain this ease of doing business? What are the various reforms that these countries are taking? How can artificial intelligence, various modes of mobility, e-mobility can be brought in to Indian context as well? All these topics are being discussed as far as, this Vaibhav Summit is concerned. Mark?
Indeed, and Arun, already there is a system in which academics basically can communicate with each other. They review each other's papers, they check, for advancements in their particular fields. So everyone really has to be in touch and they have to know what's happening in their field. So at this level, perhaps, people are already aware of the kind of situation that each one is involved with. They are probably going to, look at COVID as well, because it is a problem that is affecting the entire world. It's caused a sort of a dampener. It's caused it's forcing people to think out of the box, and that is probably one of the reasons why one has to tap minds that are involved, that are invested in ideas, that they will try and find some unique solutions. What do you think about that? I mean, are they going to look at perhaps post-COVID world?
So basically, Mark, it's a two-way strategy. On one side, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is trying to tap the young minds, the minds which are already working outside India, which are contributing to various other economies as well. So how can Indian diaspora be brought in? They can be engaged in for various problems that India is facing. What can be the solutions as far as Indian context is concerned? Second, we know this domestically also. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is engaging the innovators, the researchers of our country. Recently, we have seen that Prime Minister Narendra Modi launching an initiative called Atmanirbhar Bharat App Innovation Challenge, whereby the startups of our country, the innovators and researchers of our country have come forward and developed various mobile applications related to business, entertainment, gaming, and various other sectors as well. And now the focus is to go global for our macro solutions primarily. E-mobility is something that India is looking for as of now, because yes, as India is moving from petrol, diesel and CNG towards electric vehicle, when I was listening to various researchers as of now, because this conference is going on, these researchers, these scientists are talking about e-mobility as of now. what can be the next level of transport that India can talk about
Indeed.
or India can adopt as of now as far as electric vehicles are concerned. So these best practices in various other countries like Singapore, US for that matter, UK for that matter, various professors and researchers from UK are also present here. So from 55 countries, I mean more than 55 countries, these scientists, researchers, innovators, they're giving their ideas, they're sharing their best practices, whatever they're witnessing in their respective countries where they're working as of now. How can the ideas and the best practices can be implemented in India? That is something the context all about, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi is
Yes.
constantly listening to their,
Sure.
proposals, their ideas, and a short while from now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also be addressing this Web Hub Summit.
So you have been listening to what they've been talking about, and you said that they're talking about e-mobility. Can you just, tell us a little bit about each of the people who are participating? Can you give us, some kind of an idea as to what we are, expecting out of this? Because, we just say academicians, Indian researchers. It's a virtual summit of, people who are thinkers in a sense, who are at the forefront of finding new answers. So help us. I mean, e-mobility is one pretty unique idea that they've already talked about. So they're probably coming up with something good.
All right. So India's think tank Niti Aayog is already in collaboration with all these researchers, scientists, and innovators. Whenever Niti Aayog, the India's think tank, makes any kind of document, policy document, or any kind of suggestion, or any research book that Niti Aayog is preparing, they do take inputs from various researchers, scholars who are also settled abroad, which are Indian minds, which are contributing outside as well. So yes, Niti Aayog is also collaborating with all these researchers. Now the point is that when we talk about India's problem and India's solution, how can these young minds, how can this innovative mind, how can this researching mind can contribute as far as Indian context is concerned? Yes, e-mobility is one hot topic that is being discussed. Second important part is we should understand this fact there are two aspects of this research. One is theoretical aspect, and second is the practical aspect as to what more can be done as far as practical solutions for India is concerned. The researchers, the professors are giving a theoretical idea as to yes, what more can be done as far as India's growing demand is concerned, India's aspirations are concerned. When Prime Minister Narendra Modi is talking about per drop, more crop, when Prime Minister Narendra Modi is talking about doubling the farmers' income by 2022. So what can be the innovative methods that can be adopted by India? Because India primarily as a country needs more innovative ideas, to achieve the $5 trillion economy target, or maybe the target of doubling the farmers' income. So all these, these missions or vision do require innovative ideas. The best practices in Singapore, if in case that best practices can be implemented in India, what will be the way, theoretical way and practical way? So yes, the young minds, the innovative minds, the intellectuals, the academicians, all they are having deliberations as of now. They are sharing their best practices in various fields. E-mobility is one such aspect as well, because by 2030, India is aiming to convert 30% of its passenger vehicle fleet to electric vehicle segment or the green vehicle segment. That's what India is targeting as of now. So can Singapore model, can the US model, can the UK model can be adopted and be brought in India? That is something that is being deliberated and talked about, and the researchers are sharing their ideas. When agriculture is talked about, how can the doubling of farmers' income can take place? A farmer in US or UK is adopting innovative ideas and methods. So can that be brought into India? All these methods are being adopted, talked about, be it agriculture sector, be it education, and of course, be it the mobility or transport sector.
So you talked a little bit about the content of what is likely to be discussed and is being discussed. But, one of the things that comes to mind is that when you're organizing an event like this where people are attaching themselves from all over the world, from different time zones, from different, backgrounds, how does one find a proper time, for all of them to meet? That's the big question.
So basically, Mark, it is science that is connecting everyone. It is artificial intelligence that is connecting everyone. There is one common point that everybody is agreeing to as of now, to whatever conversation I could listen to of these researchers at the Web Hub Summit. The idea of all these researchers and scientists is that how can artificial intelligence can make life of people simple, and how can the artificial intelligence can solve maximum of our problems, and how can artificial intelligence can contribute in achieving the aspirations of the growing aspirations primarily of country like India. 130 crore people. How can artificial intelligence, machine learning can bring a massive change? But domestically, we have seen that Niti Aayog, the Indian think tank primarily, has come out with various initiatives like Atal Innovation Mission, whereby students till up to 9th standard, they are being asked to innovate for themselves, and of course for various projects. They are including various machine learning, artificial intelligence.
This forum has got together distinguished talent, both Pravasi and Indian. वैश्विक भारतीय वैज्ञानिक वैभव समिट 2020 celebrates science and innovation from India and the world. I would call it a true Sangam or confluence of great minds. Through this gathering, we seek to form a long-lasting association for empowering India and our planet. Friends, I would like to thank the scientists who offered their comments, suggestions, and ideas today. You have brilliantly covered many subjects in your interventions. Most of you highlighted the importance of greater collaboration between Indian academic and research ecosystem with their foreign counterparts. Indeed, that is the fundamental aim of this summit. You correctly point towards the need of driving scientific research towards the needs of the society. You also made some good suggestions for improving the research ecosystem in India. I would like to thank all of you for your views. Listening to your words, I could see that this Vaibhav Summit is going to be a rich and productive exchange. Friends, science has remained at the core of the progress of humankind. When we look back at the centuries of human existence, how do we divide the time periods? Stone Age, Bronze Age, Iron Age, Industrial Age, Space Age, Digital Age. These are some of the terms used. Clearly, each phase has been shaped by some significant technological advance. Changes in technology have brought changes in our lifestyles. It also increased scientific curiosity. Friends, the government of India has taken numerous measures to boost science, research, and innovation. Science is at the core of our efforts toward socio-economic change. We broke inertia in the system. The long break in vaccine introduction was broken. In 2014, 4 new vaccines were introduced into our immunization program. This included an indigenously developed rotavirus vaccine. We encourage indigenous vaccine production also. Recently, We also gave market authorization for an indigenously developed pneumococcal vaccine. These vaccination program and our Poshan mission take the health and nutrition of our children to the level of importance it deserves. Our vaccine developers are active and globally competitive during this pandemic. We understand that time is of the essence. We have launched an ambitious mission to remove TB in India by 2025. This is 5 years before the global target. Friends, there are other ongoing efforts as well. We have launched major missions on supercomputing and on cyber physical systems. These have expanded on fundamental research and application in areas such as artificial intelligence, robotics, sensors, and big data analytics. This will provide a great boost to Indian manufacturing. It will help create skilled young human resources. The startup sector will prosper. 25 technology innovation hubs have already been launched under the mission. Friends, we want top-class scientific research to help our farmers. Our agriculture research scientists have worked hard to ramp up our production of pulses. Today, we import only a very small fraction of our pulses. Our food grain production has hit a record high. Friends, recently, India got a national education policy. After over 3 decades, India has such a policy. The making of this policy involved widespread consultation for several months. This national education policy, Rashtriya Shiksha Niti, aims to boost curiosity towards science. It gives much needed boost to research and innovation. I am particularly optimistic about the focus on multidisciplinary studies. The open and broad-based academic environment will nurture young talent. Today, India is also a major contributor and partner in various scientific research and development efforts at the global level. Some of these are Laser Interferometer Gravitation Wave Observatory, LIGO, approved in February 2016, European Organization for Nuclear Research, CERN, CERN, where India has been an associate member since January 2017, and International Thermonuclear Experimental Reactor, ITER. For this supporting research is being carried out in my home state Gujarat at the Institute of Plasma Research. Friends, the need of the hour is to ensure more youngsters develop interest in science. For that, we must get well versed with the science of history and the history of science. Over the last century, leading historical questions have been solved with the help of science. Scientific methods are now used in determining dates and helping in research. We also need to amplify the rich history of Indian science. Sadly, for long, many youngsters have been fed the lie that everything before modernity was superstition and dark ages. Today is the age of computers, programming, mobiles and applications. But even there, what is at the base of all computing? It is binary code, 1 and 0. Friends, when one speaks of 0, how can one not speak of India? 0 made much of mathematics and commerce accessible to all. Our youth must know about Baudhayana, Bhaskara, Varamira, Nagarjuna, Sushrut, and many others like Satyendranath Bose and C.V. Raman in the modern era. The list is long. Friends, inspired by our glorious past and powered by our achievements in the present, we are looking ahead with great hope. We are aiming to build a secure and prosperous future for the coming generations. India's clarion call of an Atmanirbhar Bharat, a self-reliant India, includes a vision of global welfare. In order to realize this dream, I invite you all and seek your support. Just recently, India introduced pioneering space reforms. These reforms provide opportunities for both industry and academia. You are all aware of India's vibrant startup ecosystem. These advances would never be complete without the groundwork done by scientists, innovators, and academics. Our startup sector would gain from your mentorship. Friends, the Indian diaspora are excellent ambassadors of India at the world stage. Wherever they have gone, they have taken with them the ethos of India. They have also embraced the cultures of their new homes. The Indian diaspora has been successful in many fields. Academics is one shining example. Most of the top global universities and many of the top technological corporations in the world have benefited greatly from the presence of Indian talent. Through Vaibhav, we present to you a great opportunity, an opportunity to connect and contribute. Your efforts will help India and the world. After all, when India prospers, the world also take a leap ahead. These exchanges will certainly be useful. Your efforts will help create an ideal research ecosystem. It will merge tradition with modernity. It will make India provide homegrown solutions to the challenges we face. It will create prosperity for others. It will help India create disruptive technologies. Friends, we are meeting on the birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. I am reminded of something that Gandhiji has said almost 100 years ago in 1925 while speaking at the Maharaja College, Thiruvananthapuram. He wanted the fruits of scientific progress to reach rural India, where most of our people live. Bapu also believed in broad-basing science. In 1929, he tried something unique. He tried crowdsourcing. He sought ways to design a lightweight spinning wheel. His care for the villagers, the youth, the poor, and his vision to integrate the larger public with science inspire us. Today, we remember another proud son of India on his Jayanti, our former PM, Sri Lal Bahadur Shastri Ji. We remember his humility, simplicity, and great leadership. Friends, I wish you all the best of your discussions and assure that we will work to make Vaibhav and its outcomes a grand success. Before ending, I advise all of you to take full care of your health, to take all precautions and to remain safe. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, that was Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressing the Vaishvik Bharatiya Vaigyanik Summit via video conference. The summit, of course, brings together the world's top from Indian origin researchers and academicians. They come together and they're discussing problems that can change the world. And of course, the Prime Minister says that that was the basic purpose of this entire meeting. It is to find collaboration with a foreign counterpart, and he says it's a rich and productive exchange of ideas. That science is at the core of every kind of progress. He talked about the history. Each phase of development in the world has had a technological intervention, a technological advancement that has brought that about. And he then talked also about vaccines, very topical, very important at this point in time. Vaccines, the Indian immunization program, how effective it has been in safeguarding our children, and that also mixed with the Poshan Abhiyan, and basically also talking about time being of the essence as far as vaccines are concerned, obviously in the context of COVID and the time that we are living in. He also talked about technology having to play a very important role, an intervention in boosting India's potential in terms of manufacturing. And of course, the modern technology as artificial intelligence and internet-based technologies, and innovation hubs have already been set up in the country. And he also spoke about how the new education policy, in fact, is driven in that direction. It is to inspire curiosity and wonder and curiosity in children towards science, because science is going to be science is already, in fact, the hub with which the world is already working with. And then, of course, he talked about a lot of more about how science and technology has helped in the advancement of society, and how he hopes that this collaboration will bring about greater advancement and development for the global community. That's all we have in this bulletin. Thank you very much for being with us. Namaskar.